The darkness of space stretched endlessly in all directions. 12 massive ships floated slowly through the void, their once bright surfaces now dim and cold. These were not metal ships like humans might build. They were alive, grown from special materials that could breathe and think like living creatures. Commander Thelara stood on the bridge of the largest ship. Her forearms moved quickly over the control surfaces that felt warm and soft under her touch. The bioship responded to her thoughts, but weakly now. She could feel its pain through the connection they shared. "Status report," she said to her crew. Her voice carried the weight of command, but also worry that she tried to hide. Navigation specialist Kivesh looked up from his station. He was young for their species, with bright yellow spots along his shell that showed his nervousness. "Commander, the jump drives are still not working. The solar storm damaged too many of the neural pathways. We cannot make the jump to hyperspace." Thelara's main eyes focused on him, while her smaller side eyes watched the other crew members. The Velthari had traveled between stars for thousands of years. Their bioships were perfect for long journeys. They could heal themselves, grow, their own food, and even repair damage over time. But the solar storm they had flown through 3 days ago was unlike anything they had ever seen. "What about the other ships?" Thelara asked. "All 12 ships report the same problems," Kivesh replied. "The flowering branch and the deep current have lost life support in 2 sections each. The smaller ships are in worse condition." "Medical." Officer Zephyr approached the command area. Her walking was slower than usual, and her breathing sounded labored. "Commander, I must report that crew members are getting sick. The air recycling systems are failing. Without proper repairs, we have maybe 10 days before the situation becomes critical." Thelara felt a cold sensation in her stomach. In all her years as a fleet commander, she had never faced such a complete system failure. The Velthari were proud people. They had explored the galaxy longer than most species had existed. They helped other races when needed, but they never asked for help themselves. "Can we repair the ships?" she asked. Kivesh's spots turned a darker color. "Some systems, yes, but not the main drives. We need parts that can only be grown in our home nurseries. The bio-neural networks are too complex to fix with what we have." The bridge became quiet, except for the soft humming of the ship's heart. Thelara could feel it beating slower than normal. Her ship was dying, and she did not know how to save it. Chief Engineer Mordak entered the bridge. His large frame filled the doorway, and his 6 legs made clicking sounds on the floor. "Commander, I have checked all systems. The storm created cascade failures throughout the neural networks. It is like the ships have had strokes. Some parts of their brains no longer work." "How long before complete failure?" Thelara asked the question she dreaded. "Hard to say. Maybe 15 days for the larger ships. The smaller ones might last only 8 days. Thelara walked to the viewing area and looked out at the stars. So beautiful, but so far away. Her people were dying slowly, and she was responsible for their lives. As commander, the decision was hers alone to make. The crew watched her in silence. They knew what she was thinking. To send a distress call would be to admit weakness. It would tell the galaxy that the great Velthari needed help. No Velthari commander had ever sent such a signal. But as she stood there, Thelara thought about her crew. Young Kivesh, who still had so much to learn. Zephyr, who had saved countless lives with her medical skills. Mordak, who could fix anything that was broken. All of them trusted her to keep them safe. "Commander," Zephyr said softly, "I have been treating crew members from the Small Hope. They are very sick. The children especially. Children." Thelara's resolve weakened at the word. This mission was meant to be safe, a routine exploration of nearby systems. Many crew members had brought their families. The thought of young ones suffering because of her pride made her feel sick. She turned back to her crew. "Prepare a general distress signal." The bridge crew looked shocked. Kivesh's spots went completely pale. "Commander, are you certain? No Velthari fleet has ever—" "I know what no Velthari fleet has ever done," Thelara interrupted. "But no Velthari commander has ever let her people die because of pride. Send the signal on all frequencies. Include our location and the nature of our emergency." Mordak stepped forward. "Commander, what if someone responds who wishes to harm us? We are helpless. Our weapon systems are also damaged." Thelara considered this. In their weakened state, they could not defend themselves against attack. Many species in the galaxy would see this as an opportunity to capture advanced Velthari technology. Others might simply ignore the call completely. "That is a risk we must take," she said finally. "Ready the signal." Kivesh worked at his station, his hands shaking slightly. "Signal prepared, Commander." Thelara took a deep breath. With these words, she would change everything for her people. "Send it." The signal went out into space, traveling at the speed of light toward distant stars. It carried a simple message. The Velthari fleet was in trouble and needed help. For the first time in their proud history, they were asking others for assistance. Now all they could do was wait and hope that someone would answer, and that whoever answered would come as a friend, not an enemy. Captain Lee Dong-woo was drinking his morning coffee when the alarm sounded throughout the Korean Space Force vessel Taguki. The hot liquid spilled on his uniform as he jumped up from his chair in the captain's quarters. Emergency alerts were rare during routine patrols. He rushed to the bridge where his crew was already working at their stations. The bridge hummed with activity as officers checked their systems and tried to understand what was happening. "Report," Lee said as he took his command chair. Communications Officer Choi Min-ho turned from his station. His young face showed excitement and concern. "Captain, we are receiving a distress signal. It is not from any human ship or known allied vessel." "Unknown vessel?" Lee asked. "Pirates?" "No, sir," Choi replied. "The signal is unlike anything in our databases. The technology appears to be completely alien, non-human." Lee felt his heart rate increase. First contact with alien life was something every space captain dreamed about, but also feared. "Are you certain it is not some kind of test or simulation?" Chief. Engineer Park Hae-jin looked up from his console. "Captain, I have analyzed the signal patterns. This technology is far beyond our current capabilities. The transmission methods alone would take us decades to develop." "What does the message say?" Lee asked. Choi worked at his station for several minutes. "The translation is rough, but it appears to be a distress call. Multiple ships are stranded. They mention system failures and—" He paused. "They mention crew members dying." The bridge became quiet. Lee looked around at his crew. These were good people who had joined the Space Force to explore and protect. None of them had expected to face such a situation. Medical Officer Dr. Kim So-ra spoke from her station near the back of the bridge. "Captain, if there are beings dying, we should help if we can." Lieutenant Yoon-ji-woo, the security chief, stepped forward. Her expression was serious. "Captain, this could be a trap. We know nothing about these aliens. They could be hostile." Issei Lee understood both points of view. As captain, his first duty was to protect his crew. But he also knew that the right thing to do was help those in need. "Where is the signal coming from?" "Approximately 6 hours away at maximum speed," reported the navigation officer. "Any other ships in the area that might respond?" "No, sir," Choi replied. "We appear to be the only vessel within range." Lee stood up and walked to the main viewing screen. Outside, stars twinkled in the darkness. Somewhere out there, alien beings were in trouble. They had called for help, probably not knowing who might answer. "Captain," Park Hae-jin said, "I should mention that their technology appears to be biological in nature. The signal pattern suggests living systems rather than mechanical ones." "Living ships?" Lee asked with surprise. "That would be my guess, sir." Dr. Kim So-ra joined the conversation. If their ships are alive, they might need medical help as well as technical repairs. Lieutenant Yoon Ji-woo crossed her arms. Or they might see us as a threat to be eliminated. Captain, we have no idea what we are dealing with. Lee appreciated that his officers felt free to speak their minds. Good captains listen to their crews. But in the end, the decision was his to make. He thought about his training at the Space Academy. They had discussed first contact scenarios many times. The instructors always emphasized caution and following protocols, but they had also talked about the importance of showing humanity's best qualities to other species. Set course for the source of the signal, Lee ordered. Yoon Ji-woo looked concerned. Captain, should we not contact headquarters first? By the time we get approval and instructions, those beings might be dead, Lee replied. They need help. Now! That is all we need to know. The crew began working to carry out his orders. The Taegukgi changed direction and increased speed toward the unknown aliens. As they traveled, Lee called a meeting in the conference room with his senior officers. They needed to discuss how to approach this situation. First, Lee said, we will approach carefully. Weapons powered down but ready if needed. We go in as friends, but prepared to defend ourselves. What if they attack immediately? Yoon Ji-woo asked. Then we retreat and call for help, Lee replied. But I do not think they will attack. They asked for help. That suggests they are desperate, not aggressive. Dr. Kim So-ra opened her tablet. I have been reading about biological technology theories. If their ships are alive, they might be suffering like sick patients. We should approach this as a medical emergency. Park Hae-jin nodded. I agree. If we can understand how their bioships work, maybe we can help repair them. The language barrier will be our biggest challenge, Choi Min-ho added. We will need to find a way to communicate properly. Lee looked around the table at his officers. They were scared but determined to do their job. Remember, we represent all of humanity in this first contact. Let us show them what we are capable of. 4 hours later, they detected the alien fleet on their sensors. Park Hae-jin was the first to see the readings. Captain, you need to see this. Lee hurried to the bridge. On the main screen, 12 massive shapes appeared as they got closer. They were unlike any ships he had ever seen. Instead of metal and straight lines, these vessels looked organic. They curved and flowed like living creatures. Beautiful, Dr. Kim So-ra whispered. But as they got closer, Lee could see that something was wrong. The ships moved slowly and awkwardly. Their surfaces looked dull and sick. Several appeared to be leaking atmosphere. They are really in trouble, Park Hae-jin observed. Open a communication channel, Lee ordered. Choi Min-ho worked at his station. Channel open, sir. Lee took a deep breath. The next words he spoke would be humanity's first message to an alien species. Unknown vessels, this is Captain Lee Dong-woo of the Korean Space Force ship Taegukgi. We received your distress call. How can we help? They waited for a response. The seconds felt like hours. Then, strange sounds came through the speakers. It sounded like music mixed with clicking and humming noises. That is their reply, Choi said. I am working on the translation. After several minutes, Choi looked up with excitement. Captain, I think they are asking who we are and why we came. Lee smiled. Tell them we are humans, and we came because they needed help. The response from the aliens seemed surprised. More musical sounds filled the bridge. They are asking what we want in return, Choi translated. Lee thought for a moment. Tell them we want nothing except to help. The silence that followed lasted much longer than before. Commander Thelara stood frozen on her bridge, staring at the translation that appeared on her bioscreen. The human captain had said they wanted nothing in return for helping. In all her years exploring the galaxy, she had never heard such words from any species. Is the translation correct? She asked Kivesh. The young navigation specialist checked his systems again. His yellow spots had returned to their normal bright color, showing his excitement. "Yes, Commander. They say they want nothing. They came only to help." Zephyr moved closer to the command area. "Commander, this could be a trick. No species helps others for free." Thelara had the same thought. Every interaction her people had with other species involved trade, payment, or some form of exchange. Even when the Velthari helped others, they expected gratitude or future favors in return. "Ask them what kind of beings they are," Thelara ordered. Kivesh worked at his bio-console, sending the musical language of the Velthari toward the human ship. The reply came back quickly. "They call themselves humans," Kivesh reported. "They say they are from a planet called Earth. They are explorers like us." Through the viewing area, Thelara could see the human ship more clearly now. It was smaller than any of her bio-ships, made of metal and sharp angles. To her eyes, it looked cold and lifeless. How could beings who built such harsh ships be offering kindness? "Commander," Mordak called from his engineering station, "I am detecting beams from their ship. But they are not weapons scans. They appear to be trying to understand our bioships." "Should we stop them?" Thelara asked. "I do not think they mean harm," Mordak replied. "The scans are gentle, like a doctor examining a patient." Dr. Kim So-ra worked quickly at her station, aboard the Teguki. The readings from the alien ships amazed her. "Captain, these vessels are incredible. They are not just ships. They are living creatures. Each one has organs, blood vessels, and what appears to be a nervous system." "Are they sick?" Lee asked. "Very sick," Dr. Kim So-ra confirmed. "I can see damaged areas throughout their biological systems. It is like they all suffered severe injuries at the same time." Park Hae-jin studied the engineering readouts. "Captain, this technology is beyond anything we have ever seen. These ships can heal themselves, grow their own food, even reproduce. But right now, their healing systems are not working. Can we help them?" Lee asked. "Maybe," Park Hae-jin replied. "Our mechanical technology might be able to support their biological systems while they heal." Choi Min-ho looked up from his communications station. "Captain, they are asking if we want to see their ships up close." Lee considered this. Going aboard alien vessels was dangerous, but they could not help effectively from a distance. "Tell them yes. Ask permission to bring a small team aboard." The response came back quickly. "They agree," Choi reported. "They are sending coordinates for us to dock with their largest ship." Lieutenant Yoon Ji-woo stepped forward. "Captain, I strongly advise against this. We know nothing about these aliens. They could capture or harm the boarding party." "I understand your concerns," Lee replied, "but we cannot help them from here. Ready a team. Dr. Kim, Engineer Park, Communications Officer Choi, and myself. Lieutenant Yoon, you will stay here and be ready to leave quickly if needed." "Sir," Yoon protested. "That is an order," Lee said firmly. "If something happens to us, get word back to Earth about what we found here." An hour later, the human shuttle approached the alien command ship. Dr. Kim So-ra looked out the window in wonder. Up close, the bioship was even more beautiful. Its surface moved gently like skin, and she could see what looked like veins carrying, glowing fluid throughout the hull. "It is breathing," she whispered. The shuttle docked with a soft bump. The airlock systems of both vessels worked together perfectly, as if they were designed to connect. Commander Thelara waited in the docking area with her senior officers. She had never seen aliens like these humans before. They stood on only 2 legs and had smooth skin without shells or natural armor. They looked fragile, but their eyes showed intelligence and determination. The human captain stepped forward first. He was tall for his species, with dark hair and kind eyes. "I am Captain Lee Dong-woo. Thank you for allowing us aboard." Thelara understood the words through her translation system. "I am Commander Thelara. This is my fleet." The human doctor, moved closer to one of the bio walls and placed a small device against it. "Commander, your ship is in great pain. May I examine her more closely?" The question surprised Thelara. Most species saw the bioships as tools or vehicles. This human spoke of her ship as if it were a living person who deserved care and respect. "You may," Thelara replied. Dr. Kim So-ra worked carefully, running scans and taking readings. "The damage is extensive," she reported to her captain. "But I think I understand what happened. The solar storm caused something like electrical burns throughout the nervous system." Engineer Park Hae-jin studied the biomechanical systems with fascination. "Commander Thelara, this technology is amazing. Your ships are more advanced than anything we have ever seen." "Then why do you want to help us?" Thelara asked. "You could take our technology by force if you wished." Park Hae-jin looked confused. "Why would we do that? Stealing is wrong. Besides, technology taken by force never works as well as technology freely shared." The concept seemed strange to Thelara. In her experience, stronger species always dominated weaker ones. But these humans acted differently. "We have food supplies on our ship," Captain Lee said. "Your people must be hungry." Before Thelara could respond, Zephyr spoke up. "We cannot eat your food. Our biology is different." Dr. Kim So-ra smiled. "We brought our own food to share, but we also brought something else. Our ship has fabrication equipment. If you can show us what nutrients your people need, we might be able to create food you can digest." "You would do this?" Thelara asked in amazement. "Of course," Lee replied. "People should not go hungry when we can help." Over the next several hours, the human team worked throughout the Velthari ship. Dr. Kim So-ra studied the biomedical systems and began developing treatments for the damaged neural networks. Engineer Park Hae-jin worked with Kivesh and Mordak to understand how the bioships functioned. What surprised the Velthari most was how the humans shared their knowledge freely. When Park Hae-jin learned something about biotechnology, he immediately taught the Velthari engineers about human mechanical systems in return. "Your people are strange," Kivesh told Choi Min-ho as they worked on the translation systems. "How so?" Choi asked. "You help without asking for payment. You share knowledge without demanding secrets in return. Most species are not like this." Choi thought about this. "Maybe we are different, but helping others makes us feel good. It is part of who we are." As the day continued, trust began to grow between the two species. The Velthari started to believe that these humans really wanted nothing except to help. The humans learned to appreciate the incredible intelligence and skill of the bioship builders. When Captain Lee prepared to return to his ship, Commander Thelara stopped him. "Captain Lee, I must ask you something. Why do your people help strangers? What do you gain from this?" Lee considered his answer carefully. "Commander, we believe that all intelligent life has value. When someone is in trouble, helping them is the right thing to do. We gain the knowledge that we made the universe a little better." Thelara's translator struggled with some of the concepts, but she understood the meaning. These humans had something her proud people had forgotten: the simple desire to help others without expecting anything in return. "We will work together to save your ships," Lee promised. "My engineer thinks we can create hybrid systems that combine our technologies." As the human shuttle returned to their ship, Thelara felt something she had not experienced in many years. She felt hope. 3 days of constant work had transformed both the human and Velthari ships into bustling workshops. Teams from both species worked side by side, sharing knowledge and creating solutions that neither could have developed alone. In the bioship's main engineering section, Park Hae-jin and Mordak stood before a massive organic computer core. The Velthari engineer's 6 legs moved restlessly as he explained the damage to the bio-neural network. "The solar storm created cascade failures," Mordak said through the translator. "It is like many small strokes happening at once. The ship cannot remember how to heal itself." Park Hae-jin studied the readings on his portable scanner. What if we give it new memories? Our computers could store the healing patterns and feed them back to the biosystem. Possible, Mordak replied. But our technologies are so different. Biosystems think in patterns of growth and flow. Your machines think in numbers and logic. Then we teach them to talk to each other, Park Hae-jin said with excitement. He had been working on this idea for days. We create an interface that translates between biological and mechanical languages. Meanwhile, in the medical bay, Dr. Kim So-ra worked with Zephyr to treat sick crew members. The Velthari medical officer watched in amazement as the human doctor used both traditional medicines and advanced nanotechnology to help patients. Your healing methods are very different from ours, Zephyr observed. We focus on helping the body heal itself. You attack the sickness directly. Both ways work, Dr. Kim So-ra replied as she prepared another treatment. What if we combine them? Your bio-healing enhanced by our targeted medicines? The idea intrigued Zephyr. They had been working together to help crew members from several ships. The humans had even shared their food supplies, though the Velthari could only digest specially prepared versions. I have been thinking, Zephyr said quietly. Our peoples are very different, but we both want the same thing, to help others live and grow. Dr. Kim So-ra smiled. That makes us more alike than different. On the bridge of the Taeguk-gi, Captain Lee and Commander Thelara met via video link to discuss their progress. The Velthari commander's 4 arms moved gracefully as she spoke. Captain Lee, your people continue to amaze us, Thelara said. They work as hard to save our ships as they would to save their own. We are all explorers together, Lee replied. Your biotechnology and our mechanical systems complement each other perfectly. We are learning as much from you as you are from us. Lieutenant Yoon Ji-woo approached the captain's chair. Her initial suspicion of the aliens had gradually changed to respect as she watched them work alongside the human crew. Captain, Yoon said, I have been monitoring the work teams. The cooperation between our species is remarkable. They have solved problems that neither group could handle alone. Through the bridge speakers, they could hear excited voices from the engineering teams. Park Hae-jin's voice came through clearly. It's working. The hybrid interface is translating. Perfectly! In the bioship's engineering section, a miracle was taking place. The new hybrid system that combined human-computer technology with Velthari bio-neural networks had successfully restored communication to damaged areas of the ship. Look at this, Mordak said, his voice filled with wonder. The ship is remembering how to heal. Your computer memories are teaching our biosystems what they forgot. The organic walls around them began to glow with a healthier light. Throughout the ship, damaged neural pathways started to reconnect and repair themselves. Kivesh called from the navigation station. Commander Thelara, the jump drive neural networks are responding. We are getting partial function restored. Similar. Success was happening throughout the fleet. Dr. Kim So-ra's hybrid medical treatments were helping sick crew members recover faster than either human or Velthari medicine alone could achieve. The combination of bio-healing and nanotechnology was proving incredibly effective. But the most surprising discovery came from the food laboratories. When the humans tried to create digestible food for the Velthari, they discovered something unexpected. Commander, Zephyr reported excitedly, the human gut bacteria that Dr. Kim shared with us, it is not just helping us digest their food. It is improving our overall health. Our immune systems are becoming stronger. Dr. Kim So-ra was equally excited by her discovery. Captain, the Velthari biocompounds are having amazing effects on human physiology. They are enhancing our natural healing abilities and improving our resistance to radiation. The discoveries kept coming. When Choi Min-ho worked with Kivyesh to improve translation systems, they created a new form of universal communication that could adapt to any language structure. The hybrid navigation systems they developed were more accurate than anything. either species had used before. After a week of intensive cooperation, the first major test came. The bioship's main engines, supported by human computer systems, attempted to generate power for a hyperspace jump. Commander Thelara stood on her bridge with Captain Lee, who had transferred over for the test. Both crews watched their displays. With nervous excitement, initiating power buildup, Mordak reported. Bio-neural networks responding normally. Human interface systems stable. The ship began to hum with energy. But this was different from the old bioships. The sound was richer, more complex, as mechanical precision blended with organic flow. Jump field generation at 50%. Kivesh called out. 70%, 90%. Full jump capability restored, Mordak announced. Cheers erupted from both human and Velthari crew members. They had done it. The hybrid technology had saved the fleet, but as the celebration continued, something unexpected happened. The bioship began to sing. The sound was unlike anything the Velthari had heard before. It was their traditional bio-song enhanced and enriched by harmonic frequencies generated by the human computer systems. "What is happening?" Captain Lee asked. Commander Thalara's eyes were wide with wonder. "The ship is expressing joy. But this song, it is more beautiful than any our ships have ever sung. Your technology has not just healed our ships, it has given them new voices." Over. The following days, all 12 ships were successfully upgraded with hybrid systems. Each one regained full functionality, but more than that, they became something new. The bioships retained their living nature while gaining the precision and reliability of human technology. The crew exchanges had been equally successful. Human engineers learned to work with living systems that responded to thought and emotion. Velthari engineers discovered the satisfaction of building systems that followed logical rules and mathematical precision. Dr. Kim So-ra and Zephyr had revolutionized medical treatment for both species. Park Hae-jin and Mordak had created new forms of technology that neither species could have imagined alone. But perhaps the most important change was in the relationship between the two peoples. The Velthari had learned that accepting help was not weakness, but wisdom. The humans had discovered that their instinct to help others could lead to incredible advances for everyone. As the fleet prepared for its first jump test with all ships working together, Commander Thelara made a decision that would change both species forever. "Captain Lee," she said during their daily meeting, "I have a proposal for you." "What kind of proposal?" Lee asked. "A partnership. Our peoples working together permanently. Your compassion and our experience. Your technology and our biosystems. Together we could explore the galaxy in ways neither of us could achieve alone." Captain Lee smiled. "Commander, I think that is the best idea I have heard in a very long time." The ceremony took place in the main bay of Commander Thalara's flagship. Representatives from both species gathered to witness something that had never happened before in galactic history: the signing of the first formal alliance between humans and an alien race. Captain Lee Dong-woo stood beside Commander Thelara at a specially grown bio table that sparkled with living light. The document before them was itself a marvel of cooperation, created from both human digital technology and Velthari biopaper that could preserve information for thousands of years. "Today, we make history," Thelara said, her forearms moving, in a gesture that her people used for great occasions. "The Velthari have traveled the stars for millennia. We have met many species, traded with some, fought with others. But never have we found people like the humans." The human crew members stood at attention in their dress uniforms. The Velthari delegation filled the rest of the space, their shells gleaming in various colors that showed their emotional states. Most displayed the bright patterns that meant joy and excitement. "When we first received your distress call," Captain Lee said, "we never imagined it would lead to this moment. We came because you needed help. We are leaving as friends and partners." Dr. Kim So-ra watched from the crowd with Zephyr beside her, The two medical officers had become close friends during their work together. "Can you believe this started with a simple rescue mission?" Kim So-ra whispered. "Not simple," Zephyr replied. "Your people made it look simple because helping others is who you are. That is what makes this alliance special." Engineer Park Hae-jin stood with Mordak and Kivesh. The three had spent countless hours working together, and their friendship had grown as strong as the hybrid systems they created. "The real celebration will be when we launch our first joint exploration mission," Park said. "I have already designed modifications for the new hybrid ships," Mordak replied. "Biomechanical vessels that can heal themselves but also follow precise navigation patterns. We will explore farther than either species could go alone." Young Kivesh's spots glowed bright yellow with excitement. "And the communication systems Choi and I developed will let us talk to any species we meet. No more language barriers. Communications." Officer Choi Min-ho grinned. "Just wait until you see the universal translator we finished yesterday. It can even handle emotional context and cultural references." As the ceremony continued, both captains signed the alliance document. The moment their signatures were complete, the bioship itself responded. The walls glowed brighter, and a new song filled the air, a harmony that blended the traditional Velthari biomusic with mathematical patterns generated by human computer systems. "The ship approves," Commander Thalara said with a laugh. "She sings more beautifully now than ever before." Lieutenant Yoon Ji-woo, who had been the most cautious about the aliens initially, stepped forward. "Commander Thalara, I owe you an apology. I was suspicious of your people when we first met." "You were protecting your crew," Thalara replied. "That is the duty of a good officer. I understand because I felt the same way." "What changed your mind?" Yoon asked. Thalara looked around at the mixed crowd of humans and Velthari working together, laughing together, sharing ideas and dreams. "Your people showed us something we had forgotten. They showed us that true strength comes from helping others, not from standing alone." The formal ceremony concluded, but the real celebration was just beginning. In workshops throughout the fleet, joint teams were already working on new projects. The hybrid technology that had saved the Velthari ships was being refined and improved. Dr. Kim So-ra had established a medical exchange program. Velthari doctors would learn human techniques while human medics studied biohealing. The combination of both approaches was proving more effective than either system alone. "We are creating something completely new," Kim So-ra explained to Captain Lee. "Medical treatments that work with the body's natural healing while also providing targeted intervention. Both species will live longer, healthier lives." In the engineering sections, teams led by Park Hae-jin and Mordak were designing the first generation of true hybrid vessels. These ships would be born rather than built, but they would also be programmed with human logic systems and computer networks. "The new ships will have the best of both worlds," Park explained. "They will be alive and able to heal themselves, but they will also be precise and reliable, perfect for long exploration missions." Commander Thalara and Captain Lee met privately after the ceremony to discuss the future. They sat in Thalara's command chamber, where the bio walls pulsed gently with the ship's heartbeat. "There is something I must tell you," Thalara said. "The Velthari government was not pleased when they learned I had asked for help. Asking for assistance is seen as weakness among my people." "And now?" Lee asked. "Now they are amazed by what we have accomplished together. The hybrid technology we developed will revolutionize both our civilizations. The Council of Elders wants to meet with your leaders to discuss expanding the alliance." Lee nodded. "I have been in contact with Earth Command. They are very interested in formal diplomatic relations. This could be the beginning of a new era for both our species." "There is more," Thalara continued. "Several Velthari colonies have requested human technical advisors. They want to learn how to build hybrid systems for their own worlds." "And several human colonies would welcome Velthari biospecialists," Lee replied. "Earth's agricultural scientists are fascinated by your biofarming techniques." Over the following weeks, the first joint missions began. Mixed crews of humans and Velthari explored systems that neither species had visited before. The combination of human curiosity and Velthari experience led to discoveries that amazed both peoples. The hybrid ships performed beyond all expectations. They could travel farther and faster than traditional vessels while also being safer and more comfortable for long journeys. The biocomponents could grow food and recycle air indefinitely, while the human computer systems provided perfect navigation and communication. 3 months after the first contact, Captain Lee received new orders from Earth Command. He was being promoted to Admiral and given command of the first permanent human Velthari joint fleet. "Congratulations, Admiral Lee," Commander Thelara said when she heard the news. "You deserve this honor." "I could not have done any of this without you and your people," Lee replied. "Will you consider joining the joint fleet as co-commander?" Thelara's 4 arms moved in the Velthari gesture of great honor. "I would be proud to serve alongside you." The formal announcement of the joint fleet came 6 months later. 12 hybrid ships, each crewed by mixed teams of humans and Velthari, would explore the galaxy together. They would search for new worlds, make contact with other species, and spread the message that cooperation was stronger than conflict. Dr. Kim So-ra became the chief medical officer for the entire fleet. Her hybrid medical techniques had already saved hundreds of lives from both species. Zephyr served as her deputy, and together they trained a new generation of doctors who understood both biological systems. Engineer Park Hae-jin was appointed as the fleet's chief technology officer. Working with Mordak, he oversaw the construction of new hybrid ships and the upgrading of existing vessels. Their innovations were being adopted throughout human and Velthari space. Communications Officer Choi Min-ho became the fleet's diplomatic specialist. His universal translation systems made it possible to communicate with any species they encountered. With Kivesh's help, he had also developed cultural analysis programs that helped prevent misunderstandings. Even Lieutenant Yoon Ji-woo found her place in the new alliance. Her security expertise, combined with Velthari defensive biotechnology, created the most advanced protection systems ever developed. The joint fleet could defend itself against any threat while remaining peaceful in its intentions. 1 year after that first distress call, Admiral Lee stood on the bridge of the new Harmony, the first ship designed from the beginning as a human Velthari hybrid vessel. Beside him, Co-Commander Thelara watched as they approached a new star system that long-range sensors had identified as potentially harboring intelligent life. "Ready to make another first contact?" Lee asked. "With you and this crew, I am ready." "For anything," Thelara replied. "We have learned that the galaxy is full of wonders when different peoples work together. Through the viewing screens, they could see new stars and unknown worlds waiting to be explored." The joint fleet had already made contact with 3 other species, and each encounter had been peaceful and beneficial for everyone involved. Admiral, Communications Specialist Choi reported, "We are receiving signals from the 4th planet. They appear to be artificial, possibly a technological civilization." "Another species that might need help," Dr. Kim So-ra said with a smile. "Or another species that could teach us something new," Engineer Park added. Admiral Lee looked around at his mixed crew of humans and Velthari working together in perfect harmony. "Open a channel," he ordered. "Let us introduce ourselves and see what wonders await us." As the new Harmony moved toward the unknown world, its hybrid biomechanical systems hummed with anticipation. The ship itself seemed eager to meet new friends and discover new possibilities.